Brendan Popwell is hosting at Matamata. George Simon will be in the commentary box there. BP, good morning to you. What can you tell us about your surrounds today?
Good morning, Jason. Yes, surrounding a little overcast, but at this stage we haven't had any rainfall throughout the morning. We have had that rain that did hit through Thursday night and through Friday as well. So a good deluge on the track, which has meant the track condition is rated at the heavy 10 bracket. And we've seen, unfortunately, some scratchings throughout the day. The 3-odd race was going to hold up as potentially one of our races of the day, but some major defections in the race. But still some good betting prospects throughout the day, Jason.
Yeah, winners. There will be winners of those races that are programmed, and you'll be finding them for us. Looking forward to that. Let's start our preview with race number 2. It's the Comag Limited, where Yatima is $2.90. Katy Perry is 4 with soda there at $5.50. The formpro.co.nz Form Pro ratings speed map looks a little bit like this. There's been some specking from bookmakers. Barcello is the shortener from $19 opening quote, even taking into account scratchings, now 13. So this is the green with Barcello and Special Light. And could it be sort of a speed map scenario here, Brendan, with the first race and maybe not so much pressure in it? So finding a horse that's sitting handy to the pace.
Yeah, I think so. I honestly thought Soda might be able to really use the barrow draw of 1 as well. Sam Weatherly doing the riding for his dad and Darren. This horse won nicely here last time to the races, did Soda. Did have to step it up from last campaign, ended last preparation with a win and kicked off this prep with a win. So won't mind the dig in the track conditions and can take a good handy spot by either holding that rail position of being in front or taking a spot just in behind it. So I was happy to chip away at Soda in the market, running number 12. She's certainly the good each way bet in the race in sort of that 5s and 2s mark. Wrangler number 2, now he is a horse who will appreciate the conditions here. It's the first time he's presented at this venue at Matamata. But look, I'm going on his recent runs throughout the winter. He hasn't been that bad, and this is a chance for him to maybe try and cash in on maybe one of the last of the winter tracks before we get into the spring weather. So he's a hope in the race. Katy Perry liked her first up run, and Yatima as well. Both considered those horses' chances with how those horses went when last presented to the races. But yeah, didn't mind having a little something on Soda here each way, as I said, if it's presented at that 5s and 2s price.
Race number 3 is the Matamata Veterinary Services Limited 1400, and $2.10 is the price for Harlech. Travelling Light has been the best backed runner in the race, now $4.50. Again, taking into account scratchings, has still been one of the better backed runners to this point in proceedings since they opened betting for this race. How about the speed? Well, Enjoy the Show looks the natural leader. You'd think that Gigolo George would go forward. Spoke with Cameron Lammers earlier, Brendan, and he suggested that Harlech doesn't have that much speed and will likely just settle behind the main pace in the race. How did you assess the race and how do we play it?
Yeah, I think Enjoy the Show is the clear greenie in the race. It can go forward and be up front contesting for the lead. Gigolo George and Travelling Light, I think they're two horses, Travelling Light especially, with how this horse positioned up from an awkward gate at Taupo and found a position 1 by 1, and boy, she was a horse who was in a lovely position in that race, was Travelling Light and let down nicely. They've got big aspirations for her. She's a 3-year-old filly that has shown a lot, the daughter of Al Rocker, for being fit in the team. So she's in the race. So I went with Harlech, number 5, to step it up from his midweek victory here, where he just put them away quite stylishly, and there's been a big rap on his ability, the son of Darcy Brahma for Ballymore Stable. So 5 on top, Harlech to win. In front of the 12 and Travelling Light, the 3-year-old filly in the race. Big respect around number 4 in Gigolo George because of his form from 2 starts ago, where he was able to run second behind Sherwood Forest. 3rd was Carolino. You've also got the Holy Mongol Emperor, who was in that race. Then he's come out and won stylishly in a midweek race. And then Appellant. Is Appellant able to try and find rediscover some form lines from the 2-year-old preparation, where this horse was good enough to be close up in some very good races? The other intrigue in the race here, Jason, with the good barrow draw is Ruby Negroni, runner number 2. Locally trained filly that has shown some talent, can get through these type of track conditions. Could she be the smoky at a big price if she's able to get a good sit in transit? But I was liking the 5 Harlech and the 12 and Travelling Light in our 3-year-old race.
The Russell and Yvonne Green Memorial over 1,200 metres, rating 82, which is the 5th on the card. And the best backed runner Up and down the country, one of the best back runners up and down the country, Burgundy Bell, $3.20. Another runner that has received good support in the last 24 hours, Supreme Heights, that's $3.40. And then you've got Star Treasure, Speedy Meaty, Pin Me Down at $7 and $8 respectively. How about the map? You'd think that Burgundy Bell from barrier forward just get a beautiful run. Supreme Heights may be going forward, not quite sure of the tactic Speedy Meaty, but is drawn to potentially sit close to that speed. Race number 5, thoughts here, Brendan?
Yeah, I'm going to certainly try and get Stephen Routh's thoughts around Speedy Meaty leading into this race, because we know he's better than what he did show at Ellerslie. He can go forward. He does have a barrier draw where he can be positioning up. He was good enough to be a dead heat winner with Vigour winner in the Cambridge Breeders. So can he turn around a 20-length defeat at his last start to the race as Speedy Meaty? He's a chance. I think he is a chance in the race. I think you're right, though, around Burgundy Bell. Just camps off the pressure, which is likely to be Supreme Heights, who can go forward. He's had a very good winter. But with some key scratchings in the race, it's really left it down to horses like Burgundy Bell and Supreme Heights that have got the form on the board around those two runners. And I went with Burgundy Bell in front of Supreme Heights. I thought Speedy Meaty could turn things around and be a big improver here this afternoon and be amongst the trifecta. And then if you're looking for anything else in the race, maybe Star Treasure. Star Treasure punched forward when last presented to the races and made Dawn Patrol really work for that victory out of Pukekohe Park. But I was keen to have a beat today on Burgundy Bell.
Star Treasure, definitely a horse that you'd expect to see green as well. That's a horse that they'll be riding positively for sure. Okay, this is the market for the next race for preview. It's the Team Whelans, Matamata Cup, long-time supporters of Matamata Racing, Team Whelans, and also racing in general. Des, $4.60, and this is a runner that bookmakers have been trying to sort of control support on. They haven't done a very good job. It's shortened it to $4.60. Money keeps coming for it. Polly Gray into 7, and Hey Tiger is another runner that has attracted good support. Okay, so unfortunately Concert Hall and Hinerangi have come out of this race, Mongolian Conqueror as well, due to track conditions, I understand. Admiral and Tweedledee, though, a couple of horses in green that could roll forward. And what's still a very competitive renewal of the Matamata Cup here, Brendan?
Sorry, I just missed that. Tommy Thompson just came over the course speaker, so unlike Tommy Thompson to come and interrupt you. But anyway, Jason, we'll press on here. I'm sure you were talking about the map for this race. First of all, you're right about the couple of key runners coming out of this market, and that being Concert Hall and Hinerangi. They were two horses that were right in the market. They were well supported, but we did hear during the week that if it did get to a heavy bracket, that Concert Hall wouldn't be lining up. So it's meant we've got a new favourite, and it's Des, who, as we know, through the winter has been so consistent, won the Winter Cup, was placed in the Winter Classic, placed in the Metric Mile. I just love how they've spaced his races, though, in recent starts, where it was a month between runs, between his recent effort, of course, in the Merrill Metric Mile to today, and that was off the back of the effort in the Winter Classic. So all the good form around him, and he does like these conditions with Chris Johnson. We had a good day yesterday at Timaru. So I'm marking the 2 on top. I'm going to have a little specky on the 12 in the race, and that being Hey Tiger. He is down in the weights. He is a local that performs well on his home track. I know he was nibbled at 19s into 14s when this market was released on Thursday, so he just might be that sort of horse in the low weight with a good gait that he could take some sort of part in this race with the track conditions where they sit now. I've got the 10 in the mix as well, and that being Polly Gray. She got up by the barest of margins in the Graves race over Battle Time, and I've got Battle Time in my numbers as well. But I've gone with the winter performer, and that being Des, runner number 2 for the Team Whelans Matamata Cup, as we still hear Tommy Thompson coming over the intercom at the moment. We'll pass it back to you, Jason.
He's got all the timing of a batteryless Seiko, Tommy Thompson, at the moment. Terrible stuff. Okay, race number 7 is the Fairview Motors Matamata 2000. $3.40 for LIR, $4 for Luminous, and Suleiman at $4.80. Let's go to the speed map and see how this could play out. Joe Cargo and You Want More look like they have the race themselves. The tempo even, but I just wonder that it might be a little bit tepid in the middle stages. So, yeah, a very tricky race. It doesn't look like there's going to be an abundance of speed. Therefore, might need to just reassess things a fraction. What were your selections for race number 7 here, Brendan?
Yeah, I think you're right there, Jason, because Joe Cargo, on his day, Joe Cargo could win a race like this. He's a sort of horse that can get to the front and then he can get it on his own terms. And that's when he's very hard to beat, Joe Cargo. He's at a price where if you're wanting to back something at a rough little quote, it could be him and Joe Cargo. So I'll be keeping a close eye on how the pattern of the day works out, and this particular race just could play into his hands as well. You Want More's been a hard horse to follow through the winter, hasn't she? She won the Cornwall Handicap, did You Want More, and we just haven't seen the best of her since then. They've taken the blinkers off. I do like Luminous. Look, this horse did win a midweek maiden when last presented and has to step up to a rating 82, but we know that she's stakes placed as a 3-year-old filly. She's a horse who can get through to a good race. What that good race could be for her, she just looks like she's got that good quality about her. So I'm sort of going to go against the grain a little bit with what I'd like to do here and tip a maiden to win a rating 82 maiden winner from last start to the races to win 82. But I'll go with her, the 11 Luminous, on top in front of the 10 and LIR because she does have the credentials of being able to get through these track conditions. As I said, De Gaulle number 6 can be a chance, and I'd throw Joe Cargo into your mix if you're trying to play into quaddies or multiple bets. Just could be one of those sneakies in the race. But I went with the 11 on top, and what I found was a tricky race on the card.
Yeah, Luminous is the one horse that I'm pretty sure I could paint being white and not needing any colour whatsoever. She is a beautiful horse in the flesh though, and she'll be well supported in that race. Okay, Brendan, $100 again. How do you think you'll use it to play today?
All right, I'm going to play around Burgundy Bell today, Jason. So that's my main bet on the card. So I'm going to mark that as my best bet for the day, Burgundy Bell. Look, the price is still there. You're chasing $3.20 at the moment with all those scratchings that have come out. She was at $5, I think, when she opened early. The price is still there if you want to be taking her at 3.2. I thought Tari was worth a nibble in the first. Just a runner that can get through these track conditions. Chelsea Burden aboard with 3 kilos off. A couple of very good runs at this meeting on the 28th of August and 18th of September on heavy ground and slow surfaces. So just happy to chip away to her price. And then I've gone a bet with her. So 10 each way Tari. I've got $25 to win on My Superior Girl. Big run at Ellerslie last start of the races. Missed the kick and got back and ran into second position. She's a horse we have seen set up on tempo in her previous starts. She finds a spot either outside leader or if they press forward and go with her all the way to the front, she could be out hard commodity to peg back. I thought she was a nice betting racer before My Superior Girl for an informed trainer and Catherine Cameron. Burgundy Bell in race number 5, 30 to win on that runner. And Vainglory in the last race, a horse who will get through these conditions, looks ready to strike. Third up, Vainglory for trainer Cody Cole, and did win a maiden on a slow 7 here at Matamata, did Vainglory. That's a look at the best, the value and the strategy. We kick things off race number 1, Jason, at 20 minutes past 12.
Excellent. Looking forward to returning to you before then. Brendan Popperwell at Matamata with George Simon, and the Matamata Cup race day is not far from starting. How about the Valachi Downs featured runners forward today? Well, Secret Allure is competing in race number 7 and will be a great chance for Lisa Latter. Trumpet in race number 1 there at Matamata for Stephen Marsh. And at Caulfield in the second race, Colin Little has Vacillator, who's by Zakinto, and highlights. So here, those the Valachi featured runners, or the feature runners, for this big Saturday of racing. We thank Valachi Downs for their continued association with us here on the Punters Lounge Live. That brings to a close the Saturday preview into Saturday's big day of racing on TAV Trackside 1. Next up, we've got Howard and Matamata and 4 Group 1s out of Caulfield, Group 1 out of Randwick. Hope you managed to find a winner or two and have some luck. I'll catch you on the other side, but it's Bevan Sweeney starting Howard now.
Can't stop till I'm good and